And there we are. Hello, hello, hello. Greetings. Wow, it has been. I hope you're doing well. In the middle of the day on a Thursday. Um, it has been a while since I have streamed on YouTube. What a what a thrill. Truly has been a hot minute. Sorry, I'm just pressing through a couple settings right now. Yeah, there we are. Well, hello, hello, friends. So here we are on this stream on YouTube. I'm not even behind a piano. Um, I am just behind a computer screen. So I wanna just the really the purpose of this stream is I wanna walk through the behind the scenes from Disassociate, how it got made, and the parts of how it got made. Um, and I want to towards the end. I mean, I'll do like Q&A all the way through because we'll just hang out. But towards the end, I do have an announcement about the channel direction and where I'm going from here. And the only thing I want to say about that now is that this last era of the channel, which I would say started at The Well, um, kind of ends with Disassociate. Those are like two big projects that bookend this whole era of content. And now we are moving on to something else. And I think people will like it. But I wanna spend some time here walking through Disassociate first. This is like Disassociate week on the channel, uh, where we had the release on Friday, and then tomorrow there's one more music video coming out for Broken Parts, the final sequence of the film, and then starting next week is when the new content will be out, and then over the weekend you'll see some changes around the channel and all that. Hello, Morgreen. Wow, it's like I just saw you over on Twitch. Oh, God, that was 6 days ago. Right, this is Thursday. Man, I'm going to be doing two streams in 2 days. What a concept. Because late night piano. That's part of the announcement, too. Oh, my goodness. But let's get into it. So, uh, pajam! Here we are in Vegas Pro, which is what I used to cobble this all together. And it's here. It's all here. So we've got basically the 12 scenes from the film. They are all plunked in here. It is not as much video as you think, or you would think, as soon as these thumbnail things load, and that is because I was so afraid of like not being able to render it right that what I ended up doing, and just kind of for ease of access, I certain parts of the film I just did as their own entire video projects. So like the three musical segments are just all their own, their whole own like rendered video already that I just then threw into this. Um, and then this main film project just kind of put everything together and then rendered it all. And there are some parts that were just constructed in this. So well heck. Let me do one final screen switch around here. Um, and let's jump into looking at this. So Disassociate. Um, I mean, I guess I should do some kind of preamble, insofar as that I think the point of the film. I really have no plan for this, so I don't know how much I want to talk about the kind of stuff that I think should stay subjective. Because I think it's important for it to be interpreted in multiple ways and for it to mean something different to different people. But for me, this whole film was an act of therapy. It was an exercise in getting all these thoughts out in a healthy way. Because all of the things in this film are aspects of me and my thinking and how I've been processing what's been going on with the world for like the past 3 years. I really like since the pandemic started, and probably a bit before that as well. And I got to a point where like all these things were brewing up in me, and it was just it was increasingly negative. And that was a few months ago when I did that video on the channel where it's like, guys, I just got to go pursue this thing. And that thing was disassociate, because I realized that I realized even very early on in the process is like, oh, I don't care how well this performs. It is not YouTube content, but it's really important for me to make for my own mental health's sake. So I've been really jazzed that, of course, not a ton of views, but the people who have been watching it have been interacting with it very meaningfully. They're getting some wonderful responses. So that is terrific. That all these thoughts inside my head can mean something to people. It's an amazing feeling. All right, that was a lot of preamble. Let's dive into this. Let's dive into this film breakdown. So this whole intro scene, the intro scene and Pep 'Em Up, which is all this dream sequence. Yeah, it's just super trippy. And these visuals were very fun to make. It's a whole kind of thing I've not done before, but it's kind of using the same tools that I've done for a lot of the silly songs over the past 8 months and all the green screen things. Like this background footage is just like a copyright-free video of space that I have dumped so many effects onto. So it's here. Wait, let's look at this. So right, so we have like these stars here. So tweaks all the lighting and it just focuses the points, and then this edges out, so it does that like color grading thing, and it turns all of the points of light into hexagons. Did I do 6-pointed? I did 4-pointed. So they're kind of squares, but they stack over each other. And then this gives that extra grainy teal tint. And then there's just a little bit of a color corrector to make it a little bit more indigo, which is what I wanted. And a lot of this whole intro scene, a lot of Pep 'Em Up, is just using all those tools, which I used in the silly songs, but to new effect, to a brand new way. So like I created from the ground up very few of the visuals throughout this entire sequence. Like this is just a copyright-free image of a TV I found, and then I like made it bend. This will probably show. Yeah, if you look carefully, the legs warp out and then it zooms in. So that's just, again, dumping tons of effects on it, which is such a fun way to make stuff, because you already have the basic tools in front of you. If you're not a visual artist, like I am not, I love to tweak stuff. Yeah, exactly. You just, playing God in your editing software is something that I feel like every digital artist, every digital creator knows, and it's a lot of fun. The actual Pep 'Em Up video here, so like in the context of the film, it kind of it's all introduced and staticky here. So it means like I wrote the whole Pep 'Em Up sketch and like filmed it and edited it to be complete, and then I chopped it up in here. Like even knowing I was eventually going to chop it up, I was like, I need to just make the full thing or else it won't look right chopped up. And then initially I wasn't even going to do this as a dream sequence. I was going to have the Pep 'Em Up ad displayed on my monitor, and then I was going to have a camera like 10 feet back, and I was going to slowly zoom in, and it was just going to be like on a black background or something. So that's what you're seeing. This is like, this is filmed on, this was just like filmed, I think and then I have to get rid of this. Yeah, so that's just like filmed on my monitor, because that's how I originally thought the scene was going to play out, and then I ended up just tweaking it to put into this dream sequence. No sweat, DJ Pig Jesus the Threequel. So good to see your full name again. Have a good time wherever you're going. Anyways, so what's the whole point of this dream sequence? That's the whole point of Pep 'Em Up as we go into it, because Pep 'Em Up from a technical standpoint is pretty self-explanatory. There's nothing too radical visually here that you haven't seen before. What's the point of all this? And the whole point is foreshadowing. It's setting up the the narrative of the film in this bizarre, dreamlike, absurdist state, which I thought was good for two reasons. One, because that's kind of what people are used to seeing from me. So I'm like, if that's right at the start of the film, that's kind of a good entry point for subscribers. You know, like it's like, oh, it's a Finn video. Okay, I understand this. And then the other point was that it was just fun because then I could put in some gags. This is one of my favorite gags. Susie, not a man. So that leads off of Chad Buscrash, who also is one of my favorite names I've ever come up with. Chad Buscrash, 37, father of 3, leads into Susie, not a man, age 6, father of 3, which still cracks me up. That's it. There's no point to it. It's just a funny thing, which I love. However, why are there, like, what's going on really here? So Pep 'em Up is, if we look at the ingredients or the tagline list here, the idea of Pep 'em Up is that later on for the sweater Finn and the alternate Finn, which by the way is what I called them all throughout development, Pep 'em Up is what they're missing. It's what I'm missing. It's that unifying factor that binds those two together. That's Pep 'em Up. You know, it's like the meaningful inspiration. It's the motivation to just do stuff and try it, as opposed to being paralyzed. And the whole point here is that you start the film knowing that whatever Pep 'em Up is, I'm missing it. I don't have that. And then the other bit of foreshadowing is that these 3 characters, Chad Buscrash, he talks about...
I was sure my kids would never be proud of me. Then I found Pep 'em Up, and now I'm the Primal Minister. My kids have to be proud of me now.
So, like, he's just talking about his kids being proud of him, which is the whole point of the first song, The Shine, where it's like, if I make dumb, goofy things all the time, is that what I leave to the world? You know, is that my legacy? Is that a worthy path to be on? So those are the questions that Chad asks himself. But with Pep 'em Up, he does have a meaningful path. He becomes the Primal Minister, Prial. And the other 2 are also foreshadowing to the songs. So, Susie, not a man, she talks about Pep 'em Up. This was kind of a tenuous grasp, but so listen to what she has to say.
Hey, what's up? I'm Susie. I'm 6 years old. My government subsidizes Pep 'em Up so I can get it real cheap. Yours doesn't though, so guess you're kind of screwed there.
So the point there is, it's the most tenuous link, I think, because what that's referring to is I really like drug mandates, and not even in Canada so much, but in the States, where I have a lot of friends, and that's something it just blows my mind about the U.S. Just like how backwards the healthcare system is. And that the lead into that is that's for Where Are the Happy Songs, which is like me trying to confront all these world issues in one big go. And I wanted to have a line about that in there, like how such an advanced society can have such this backwards view of healthcare. And I couldn't get that lyric in the song. It didn't work out. So I thought that would end up being a good lead-in for Pep 'em Up. It is kind of tenuous, but it's there nonetheless. And then the last one is Wolfgang MSM, which stands for My Sweet Melody, which is the song that Sweater Finn sings out in the outside. And again, it's 58 barely holding on. My Sweet Melody is about you trying to find some hook to keep going. And he talks about the music, the Pep 'em Up helping him to write the symphony that gives him meaning, you know? So that sort of thing. And then this unknowable entity is the future, right? So it's, that's where does it all go? When you have Pep 'em Up, where do you go next? Without Pep 'em Up, where do you go next? It all comes back to the future because it's all about looking forward. The whole film really, like all the conclusions that I came to were about looking forward. And then we wake up suddenly in the real world. And we never really go into a green screen state again, except for Where Are the Happy Songs. This whole sequence, there's nothing amazingly special about it. There are a couple shots I like. This one I really enjoy. So the mirror is out of focus on purpose because the focus is on Finn's face there. It's just a little visual thing to that like haze that he's in. And there's this, I didn't write anything like it, but there's this stare I gave myself when I was filming it, and I loved it. That pause. There's that 5 seconds of assessment. And that it means something to me. I don't know what it will mean to other people, but it does mean something to me. And all this is really a big transition. It's the cool down from the pep 'em up into the shine. Zooming in, crunching in, and then we're in the shine. I've been wondering about my course. Which is, I love this song. It's nothing. The shine was the start of the whole film. Like before I conceptualized the film, I wrote the shine. I didn't record and produce it yet, but I had written the whole thing. And when, like a month later, I was getting all these feelings, I was like, I gotta do something with this. The shine was the place to go. So the shine was really that was the thing that's like, okay, that's what this film is about. It's just really like confronting these demons. And we have this whole shine sequence of just being, and suddenly I have all these instruments in my kitchen. So there's not too much I really want to say about the shine. It's shot pretty consistent style. There's no multicam stuff like you see in my full band dubs. I use this heavy bloom on so many of the shots because when I was filming it, all the two windows in my kitchen. If we just look at the raw film, actually, why don't we just look at the raw film? Let me find this. I gotta find this mess. Film. Intro in the shine. The shine. No, whatever. Okay, here we go. So the shine. All of them have this huge bloom because if you're looking at the windows, when I filmed it, you can just see out them, which was a problem because I needed it to be this still waking up. It's like a pre-coffee thing where the world is like it's not quite fully out of the dream of pep 'em up that we established. So I just bloomed the heck out of it. And then the outside kind of fades away. And we have this nice, this gives it this rosy tint, which I really liked. What camera do I use? Good question. I shot everything on this guy, which is, I don't even remember the model. It's a Nikon something. I'm not great with camera tech. I remember I did the research when I bought this. I was like, I need a good, pretty all-purpose lens, and I need like a good upgrade for the camera. But so the lens is a Nikon 1855 millimeter, and then the camera itself, I genuinely do not remember. Oh, I gotta unscrew this. I'll find it. I'll do it for you, Red. Oh yeah, the D3500. So D3500, which got a lot of great reviews. My one gripe with the D3500 is that it doesn't have a good screen, or rather, I mean, like most cameras, once you get to a certain price point, don't have their own screen. So I had to also get this external monitor for it because so many of the shots, I like have the camera pointed at me and I'm filming myself. Not even just for this film, but for like full band dubs and piano dubs. I need to know where I'm framed in the shot. With my old camera, the one that I started, the one that the channel like really started with, it was just like it's like a handheld film, a handheld camera. So like the screen could just flip out, which is really useful. But it all works out fine. Thanks so much for saying it, Magma. Yeah, this was, I mean, it was a 3-month project from start to finish. I did not like film everything and then edit it. It was film and edit as I go, which is why like I filmed the last shot at the start of this month. But by that point, I had already edited 90% of the film. Anyway, so the really only thing I want to say with the shine is was that big bloom effect, which I'm going to mention again later. And the other little thing I did, because it felt too normal still, it didn't feel wow enough, is that you probably noticed, but on a lot of these shots, I am again using these star fields to just kind of like score over the shot. They're like their transparency set way down, like at 10%. But just to give it a little more magic. There's no practical reason why any of these star fields should also be in the video, but they are.
'Cause I've been trying to
Yeah, so real subtle stuff. It's also funny, it's amazing, like, with all the effects on, stuff crunches along so slowly. Like, even on my good computer, but rendering stuff is so hard. Like, live rendering stuff. But anyways. So there's not too much else to say about the shine. Like, it's, for me, it's that fear of, like, before I did YouTube, I was a freelance composer, and I made film soundtracks and game soundtracks and meaningful stuff that wasn't like the epitome of like the meaningless things I've made has to be I slammed my penis in the car door. 1.5 million views. It's my most liked video of all time. And it's just so vapid and dumb and shallow. And like even saying that, I don't hate it. I'm not mad at it. I chuckle when I see it. I like the vocal harmonies. But it sort of doesn't matter how good it is. Just the whole premise of it is just so like the opposite of high art. And when I made those few videos at the end of the fall and they blew up, I was like, is this who I am now? That's when that feeling really started. It's like, is this what I do now? Is this my legacy? Making these videos. Really, that's what I'm going to tell my kids I do. That's what I'm going to have to explain to my grandmother, you know? I mean, I'm still not totally resolved on that. I don't even hate the video, like those videos or anything, but it's just, it has to be confronted when you make stuff like that. Like, I'm nearly 30. Are you really going to make slamming my penis videos until the day I die? That's one of those big questions. You can actually, what films I score? A lot of indie stuff. You would not recognize any major things. I did a lot more work for games than I did for films. And even the games, like I scored the Creeper World series of games, which might be the biggest ones just because they're kind of cult classics. Oh, and I did some for Tasha Renko and Sightseer. That was the game. That's a great game and an awesome score. I love the score I did for that. I worked with Angelo Cicero on that. That was a great score. Yeah, I mean, you're right, Blazybot. It does matter how you frame it, and like if you're happy making stuff, then you're happy making stuff, and it's great. And I mean, I'm very aware that it's literally in the film. It's in the conversation after where the happy songs, where I'm like, oh, I used to be able to find meaningful purpose with making memes and all that kind of stuff. And then now I don't, and I don't know why. And when I made Disassociate, I truly did not know why. I genuinely had no idea. It's like, maybe it's just, you can only do it for so long. and like your interest just moves somewhere else. I don't know for sure. Although I am now, after having made this, after having gone through the therapy of having made this, I'm much more at peace with it. Much more at peace, and just like very so much. I have a much healthier outlook towards it, I think, now than I did when I was going through all of this stuff. Well, that's kind of you to say, Michael. I mean, yeah, I think I'm happy that I could channel all that angst into something like this, which is very meaningful for me. All right, let's keep cruising. So the shine ends, and we got the kitchen scene again. Like some of the transitions don't have. Oh, these are great comments, by the way. I just don't have. I don't have like a meaningful, zingy response for each of them. But you bring up some good points. Love this discussion. So again, here this transition into the talk show. The only real point is to give things some space, because you can't like go from the shine right into the talk show, because then you have no time to breathe. So it's a lot of this is just a pacing thing. But it was also to show that even though we've woken up, surreal things are still happening. It's whoa, Michael, that's an amazing insight. Yeah, that's the amazing thing about art, is that once, like it was just me alone making this for 3 months, and now that it's released, it's not mine anymore. It's absolutely right. It belongs to whoever wants it. And honestly, that was something that was so freeing about making it, is because for this, so much of like my discontent about myself, my life path, the world was wrapped up in this, and I put it into this. And then when I released it, I pushed it all away, and it wasn't mine anymore. And I cannot tell you how incredible that feels. To say that I did all this, it's in here now, and now it's not in me. It's not festering, it's in Disassociate. And Disassociate is now its own thing that just exists in the world for anyone. And I don't have to bear the weight anymore. And it's awesome. So, so right. So I was gonna say the surreal thing here is that it was a big catharsis. The surreal thing here is that even though like we've woken up, we're not in the Pep 'em Up dream. We're in like the real world now. Surreal things are still happening. So that was hinted at when Sweaterfin comes down the stairs, and all of a sudden there are these instruments in the kitchen. And then it's really solidified when, like, directly after the song, he looks around and suddenly all the instruments are gone. So, like, things are still not, like, something's still going on. It's still a little trippy. The eggs looked great. You know what? Here's a little behind the scenes tidbit for you. I never ate those eggs. I did not eat the eggs because I needed them as a prop, and I had to like film. So I had to film cooking them, and then I had to film like putting them on a plate and like doing this and walking over, and I had to do multiple takes of that because one, there are different camera angles, and I have one camera, so I could only film one of these angles at a time. And also because I did multiple takes, and by the time I had finished, I was like, okay, the interview is starting. The eggs have disappeared. I don't need them anymore. By the time that had happened, it had been like 15 minutes, and the eggs were just like cold and unappealing. So I just put them in the green bin. I did not eat those eggs. Also, I never have eggs for breakfast. It was another lie. It was a lie from the start. I never eat eggs for breakfast. It is, but I was like, it feels way better as a transition if I'm cooking eggs as opposed to if I'm like pouring cereal. What I should have done, looking back, was made oatmeal, which I do eat for breakfast, and that has made many appearances on this channel. My love of oatmeal is well known to people who have been around for a few years and watched all the old silly songs. I've literally made songs about oatmeal. I should have made that, but c'est la vie. Okay, so this whole interview, like I have eggs in the house for cooking. Like if I want to make pancakes or if I want to do actual cooking, I need eggs or baking. I just don't really eat them. I eat them for lunch. I'll do eggs Finn style, which is I'll fry them. I'll burst the yolks on purpose. I will then I'll flip them over. I'll flip them over, cut them in half, and then put them on 2 pieces of toast, and then just eat this egg on toast thing. That's Finn style, baby. And you can put whatever spices and herbs you want on it. It is great. But I never eat eggs for breakfast. And really never for dinner. They're just like a lunch pick-me-up. It's just like, bam, protein. You got bread, bam, carbs. It keeps you full for like 3 hours. I will not start a restaurant where I make eggs. I even go through phases where I'm so sick of eggs. I was like, I just don't want to eat eggs. And I don't buy eggs for a few weeks. Okay, so this whole interview is interesting because, so like as you can see, the premise is that, the premise here is that like Sweater Finn, who is going through a lot, is trying to have a meaningful conversation about life direction. And this other Finn who has just appeared and we don't know anything about is just being the exact opposite. Being like shallow, we're cutting quick, we're doing jokes. And those are really, very much in this moment, they are 2 parts of me that are both real. But the big point of the interview is that it's still trying to get across the point that like Sweater Finn is dissatisfied with the way things are going. And it was an opportunity to cram in a lot of jokes. The one I love here, the one I love here is this one. Yes, this will go up on, I'm recording this stream right now. I think, am I? Yes, I am. So this will go up on my second channel, Finn Was Streaming, in its full. So you can enjoy it at any time. And it's the one joke I love from here is this Interstellar
Do
joke.
your job. Now that's a concept that's truly
Don't let me leave, Murph!
interstellar. I am.
It's just so silly. Oh, it has nothing to do with anything. But just like the tenuous connection of the word interstellar to being like, you should do your job. Now there's a concept that like holds water or that like has weight. That's interstellar. And then of all quotes to use, don't let me leave, Murph. Everything about it. It's such like a me joke to make. And I laughed endlessly while making it. And I don't care if anyone else laughs at it. I found it so funny. But here's the really interesting thing about this whole interview. As you can see, like the premise here at the start is that
That entire boring interview.
like we're not gonna have to watch this whole boring interview.
No. We got you covered. We cut it down. We put our boy Tyler Skinny in.
So like we cut it down, we put our boy on edits. So initially there was not going to be this third Finn. There was going to be no extra character. It was just going to be the interview. It was just going to be an honest, straightforward interview. So I wrote the dialogue for and recorded and edited it, and it was done and ready to go, this whole interview. And then I was like, that's too long, and I can achieve the same goal in half the time if I cut it in a certain way. But then I was like, I can't just cut it because it's a complete conversation. If you cut parts of it a conversation, it just doesn't make sense. So how does it work? How can that work logically? It's like, oh, you could cut it like a YouTube video, but then that needs justification to do it. So I was like, okay, I have these 2 characters on screen. I need to now add a third to justify why this is getting cut up in the way it is. And I think it would be interesting. What we're going to do, I'm going to load this up. I have the whole 4-minute interview rendered and complete in its own standalone video. It's never going to get released because it has no purpose. But I'm going to play it all right now, just so you can see what the original conversation was like, the full points it went to. I'm using Vegas Pro for video editing. Okay, where did I put this? Is this
Good
right?
morning to all you fine folks.
Yeah, it
out
is.
There. We got Finn.
It is right. I just need to make sure. I want to make sure that the audio from this is catching.
MK from.
Yeah, it is. Okay, so here for your listening pleasure is the full extended interview scene. Enjoy.
The internet, you heard? And we're here in his kitchen. I know. My mind is getting blown left and right. Mr. Mearns Kirkwood, welcome to the program. Hi. All right, I'm going to open this up the way I always do. You know it's coming. Eric, shut up. Eric, you're making me laugh. Don't give me that face. All right. Vin, you are looking contemplative AF. So it's time for you to spill the beans. Well, I've been thinking lately. I have all these resources. I have my instruments and my equipment. I have supportive people in my life.
Yep.
And I have time. And I don't know what to do with any of that. I don't know what to make. Consider this. You could always do your job. Make videos. You remember your job? Now that's a concept that's truly interstellar. I could, yeah. But lately it feels like making goofy things for the sake of making goofy things is kind of vapid. I am a robot called Finn. I hate fun. Okay, Mr. Grown-Up. Shallow jokes, not gonna be high art. They're not trying to be. They know exactly what they are. And what they are is this. Right, but how long can you make something shallow over and over again and be proud of that as the thing you leave to the world? If I die tomorrow, is that who I am? Is that what I leave? I don't have children. That's all I have to make a mark. And if that's not good, if I'm not proud of that, then I'm not proud of the mark I leave as a human. Before I had to keep up with trends, I was proud of the stuff I made, even if it was less successful. And your life was objectively worse when you were doing that. You lived in a dumpier place. You were stressed about money all the time. You had no audience. I had purpose, though. I had meaningful purpose. I was proud of what I did. Well, here's an option for you. Shut up! And find a new job. Just find a new job. Find a new job. I am afraid to lose the audience that I have. Eric, can we cut? I think you just want to complain. There are kids out there who want to grow up and have the life that you have. There are peers of yours who want the job that you have. And you have all of this, and you're just not grateful. There are people out there who hate their jobs, and they do them anyways, and they're still happy. And because yours isn't completely creatively fulfilling, you just freeze and whine. Stop thinking about all this big picture stuff. Take a good imagine and what the alternative is to doing this, and realize what you have and do your job. It's a Tuesday. It's 11 a.m. on a Tuesday, and you haven't done anything yet. Do your job.
Right, yeah. Oh. I'd forgotten about most of that dialogue. So, yeah, there were no sound effects in that, except for the one Smosh shut up for some reason. And that's the full interview. So it was just going to cut and go to the same place this one did, which is where the alternate is just suddenly gone, and I'm left there. So some of that dialogue got repurposed into the talk after Where Are the Happy Songs. But a lot of it just got cut because it was raw. Like, I really liked the end speech that the alternate did, because it hurts me to hear it. I was like, oh, okay, so it's accurate then, because it bites to the core at a lot of what I was feeling. But yeah, the alternate was really harsh in that. I wasn't opposed to him being that harsh, but it did make his kind of, I don't want to call it redemption, but like you understand him more and more throughout the film. And starting with that was like, that's a hard point to come back from, where he's that antagonistic, is that like aggressive. So I'm happy with the way it got cut. It got cut down to like 1.5 minutes instead of 4 minutes and 20 seconds. All of the kind of the same points, or all the important stuff, still got in the film one way or the next. And that was that. Yeah. Moving onwards. So like at this point, the kind of the premise of the film is established. Where it's like, we've got these two Finns, they have different views. Although what I'd like at this point, as far as you know, Sweater Finn is just regular me, complete Finn. And the alternate is just some kind of evil demon or something. Oh, that's very nice, Andy. Yeah, I also hope for that. So into Where Are the Happy Songs. This is purely a transition. It's Sweater Finn writing Where Are the Happy Songs, writing it out, and then gets fixated on the drums because this starts with a drum beat. So that's like the beginning point. But I really like this whole scene. There is no dialogue. It's just a little bit of visual storytelling and transition. And I love how it's shot. Like the slow zoom in on the cymbal, not there, but this, love it for some reason. Just the composition there is really great. Slow zoom out. Thing of Finn staring down this symbol. This shot I love. Oh, it's so nice. Like, we're focused in on the symbol. We've got the light from the window in the background, but it's all fuzzy. And then this shot too, I just stumbled into this shot. I was like, I have to film from this angle. With the light from my ceiling lamp blocking, like carving this blade through my mouth, muting me. And that there is meaning to that, but I don't want to go. That's one of the things I don't really want to over explain. It can mean something to different people, as well as this, turning to black and white. A lot of the subjective interpretation stuff, I just prefer to leave up to you. The one thing I will say is that this cymbal-y sound that you hear, that was fun. So I recorded dragging brushes down my cymbals and then reversed it and stacked them on top of each other. So that's like 5 cymbal drags and then a release, all reversed and stacked on top of each other. It was just a neat sound to create. Yeah. Oh, I love this whole thing. I mean, there's so many parts about making this where I was like, this looks amateurish, and I don't know why. And it was ultimately because I don't know a lot about filmmaking. I've never made a film before. And there were a lot of points here where, like, where are the happy songs? I was like, this is awesome. This looks terrific. It's unique. It looks like professional. And there are other parts like this shot where it's like, it just looks like I'm obviously shooting in my room. It doesn't look like it's up to the caliber of where I want this film to be. And so those are like questions of cinematography and film experience that I just don't have. So there are. I had this talk with my brother and my sister-in-law before the film's release, where I was just like, there are parts of this that it's just, like, people have waited for months for this. I've been working on this, and the longer on YouTube, the longer you spend away working on a project, the higher the bar is for when you come back. If you take 6 months off and work on something, people are like, this has got to blow my mind. And if it doesn't, even if it's still really good, then it's a letdown. And there are a lot of parts in this where I'm like, this is like, it's not going to, this shot is not going to blow anyone's mind, you know? And I was like, every shot has to, or it's just a letdown. And ultimately I had to just say to myself, or come to the conclusion of like, be at peace that this is going to have mistakes and it's going to be gritty and there are going to be problems because you have never made a film before. And that's okay. This is how to learn. Anyways, where are the happy songs? I am just so stoked about this whole thing. This is, I think, the proudest. Oh, well, that's kind of you guys to say. Anyways, the where are the happy songs? As far as one single segment goes, this is tied for number one in the film. I'm so proud of this one. It just looks cool. The lyrics are some of the best I think I've ever written. Maybe it's because they're so like on the nose. They're so raw. And I never do that. And it was just I had these nerves about releasing this song in particular, because it's like, oh, here comes another privileged white male singing about world problems, you know? But when I got over the hump of that, and it was just like, I'm just making this for me as a therapy exercise, then I was like, okay, I don't need to justify this. I just need to speak what's on my mind. And if people hate it or find it cringy, then they hate it or find it cringy. But I'll still have made it, and I'll still have gotten feelings like this out. And that's just important for me as a person. So yeah, it's an angry song. It's a protest song for sure. And what else is there to say? But where are the happy songs? I don't want to detail how I made these visuals though, because I'm very proud of them. So initially, when I filmed this, I did not plan to do anything like this. I filmed the entire thing. It was not going to be like this. What I did was, I have two of these lights that my dad's girlfriend gave to me. They're like art studio lights, so they're warm and they are very bright. And what I did was I set two of them up. Right, I can show you. So I set them up against my black backdrop there. I had like one here, and then one here, and I was standing here, and they were shining up into my face. I don't know if you heard any of that, so I'll say it again. I had these two big lights. I had one down there, shining up into my face against the black backdrop. And what that ends up looking like, and so I like filmed all the instruments there and some from multiple angles. So what that ends up looking like before effects is this. which is just the kind of this regular footage. So these really bright lights are shooting upwards. They are below. Oh, cool! Everyone heard it. And they're on the black backdrop. And the plan was for the whole video to look a lot more like the bridge, which was this guy.
I'm doing worse than
So the whole video was initially going to look like this because it's like if it's the visuals have to match the tone of the song. So even this, like there's like no effects on this. There's a little bit of lighting. But that's the raw footage. There's literally just one lighting effect on. But somewhere along the way, I hate lunch right before doing this. Somewhere along the way, I was toying around with effects, and I stumbled into, very specifically, this guy, this effect. Because the problem I had was, like, this was the shot, and I was trying to wash out the background. I was like, I gotta do something about it. And then I was like, oh, so I can wash out the background. And now that's kind of, you know what? That's kind of like a green screen. I could just take all of that out. So I did the green screen effect on it, and I was like, oh, I can put the lyrics behind. But it still needed something. And I was like, oh, so wait, I washed out the background. What if I take that a step further? I can wash out me, and I can just color myself. So it can, it could be any color but green, that's because the way the green screen thing works. But I could color myself to any color, and then there's just this like weird silhouette. And that was a magical discovery, because then I could do that for everything. And because they were green screened, I could layer them on top of each other, like this. And because they're colors, they make new colors when they're overlaid on each other. It was just so fascinating. So like there's the initial video. There's the chroma key. That's the background washout, and then we just make what remains glow. I love this. It's just a total accidental discovery, and it was the best thing. And as soon as I had that and the idea to put the lyrics in the background, because the lyrics are so important to the song, it's all about the message. The song itself is very simple. The whole song is 3 chords. It's very simple. It just all came together. It's like these are completed shots. That's full thing. I just need to make the text fill up the empty space. As far as the context of the song, it's Suicide's a Tragedy, but Life is the Same. It is not a happy song, that's for sure. Honestly, this song is pretty self-explanatory. Other couple cool things that I liked were this visual here, which is, of course, the thin blue line growing between victim and cop. The coloring of certain words I really like to do. So the hour longs are black, to gray that out. And the Suicide is a Tragedy, but Life is the Same, to push that up. For obvious reasons, doing shout really big, little text things like that. This one too. This one was neat. So these 2 drum videos, it's like they're playing the same hi-hat.
But I don't have an answer for the crowd who demand.
But it's just kind of a trick, a visual trick. So there are lots of these little shots that I was happy with. Especially this final sequence with when the guitar comes in. Both parts of this whole thing is like Art Attack, but for sad millennials. Just awesome. I love it. I'm very proud of this whole video. This whole Where the Happy Songs part of the film. If I have to, if I have to like You have 3 minutes to convince someone to watch Disassociate. This is what I will show them. I'll show them where are the happy songs. So we're like halfway through the which is good. I didn't really want the stream to be more than 2 hours. So then we are into the talk. We just like unleash from this colorscape. Next frame, we're just in the room here. And this is the first real talk between the alternate and Sweaterfin. So there's a lot of the stuff that was missing in that got taken out of the interview, got put into here. Especially in this speech, which is really sad. This is a really sad 45-second speech. And then it just kind of ends. There's no resolution. Well, there you go. But there's not too much else to say about that. Except that, I love some of the shots. Like this one is great with the backlight here. And other shots, like this one, it's this whole same thing shot at the same time, and I just don't like it. It looks so much worse, less dramatic. But it's just learning filmmaking. I live and learn. Okay, so outside, this was important to shoot. And I don't mean, or rather what I mean is it was important to shoot because one, it was a visually just a stark difference, because the rest of this is shot in and around my place. But it was also important because I worried about if the entirety of it was shot inside here, then it would feel really cloistered. It would feel quarantined, and more like Bo Burnham's Inside than I wanted Disassociate to feel like. So for Sweaterfin to just go out on a walk to think stuff through, which is something I do, felt very true to me, and it's like, this is good, it's important. So on a very cold but beautiful day, I went out to a trail outside of Ottawa. I did my research. I was like, I want some certain shots here. I need some good bits of wilderness. So I went to this place. I don't even remember what the trail is called now. I'd have to look it up. But I was able to get some great shots. This one is, I love it. Look at the sky gradient. There are no effects on this shot. That's just pure Mother Earth. It was incredible. It's just beautiful and bright. And you could see all the way up into it was close to space as the human eye can see. And I just got that. My goal, I wandered around this trail for 3.5 hours, shooting this 1.5 minute bit. And it was absolutely worth it. Despite all my cold, I had to use camera stuff. So my hands were frequently out of gloves in the cold. Out here on this frozen lake was the worst. The wind was deadly. It was so cold. The first time I shot this, I had to reshoot this shot because it was like the wind was buffeting it. The stand, there was so much wind. So to get the shot, I needed to like put my weight against the stand and drag it down onto the ice so that it would stay still in the wind. And it was just, all the elements were against me. It was so cold. I felt my hands stiffen up to a degree that I have almost never felt. It was very cold, but so worth it for this beautiful shot. So I just wandered around this trail for like 3.5 hours, finding the right spot for all these shots. I used most of them. There are some I didn't use. Most of them, especially all the good ones, I made sure to use. Here, I did just like go. I went off the trail. Although, like, it's funny, like these few shots are shot in wildly different locations. But thank you, Chris. I went off the trail. I was like, I had no idea what I was looking for. But I was like, I need to find some spot where it's just me and the wild. And I was able to just find this tree in the middle of this much more open area. And it was the spot. It was the spot to do it. I just collapsed at the bottom of this tree. That's a great insight, LazyBot. Yeah, it's like if the indoors is where it's hostile, but that's like it's warm and nice and cozy in here, then the outside where the elements assail you, and that is the safe place for Sweater Finn. Alternate, the other Finn does not come out here because it's comfortable back home. He doesn't really want to change. He doesn't want to grow. He wants to just, keep the roof on, do the things that work. And so for this place that is new outside to be the place where Sweater Finn can go to think about growing, to think about how to work that through, like to take that step on the path of growth, that's a great insight. Look at this. I'm learning about my own film. It's incredible. I love this stream. So, and then again here. So I got, how we saw that whole uncut interview? I have another little scene like that for you guys. Out here, of course, is where I sing my sweet melody.
I'm scared to know.
What you don't see is like right here out of frame, I am holding my phone up and capturing the audio for that on my phone. There was no way I could bring a microphone out here. I tried to use a lapel mic, but my phone's speaker ended up being better than the mic, especially with all the wind. And I did a lot of wind editing on this clip. Oh my goodness. But my sweet melody, this song here, was not originally just going to be me singing a cappella out in the wild. I recorded a full version, which I shall share with you guys now. I'm going to give you no context to what it might sound like, but I'll just play it for you as soon as I can find it. Here we go. All right, so this is the demo. It never got mastered or anything, but here's what the original demo of it was going to sound like, and I was just going to lip sync to this.
I'm scared to know myself. If who I am has changed from who I thought I was. I'm scared that my mental health isn't as stable as I told myself it was. I think I've changed, and not for the better. I know I've changed. Is it for the better? Save me, my sweet melody. Rescue me, my luscious harmony. I know who I am without you. I don't wanna be him again.
So that was the whole thing. It was very much inspired by Imogen Heap. And it was going to be this a cappella vocal thing with that was 8-part harmony, pretty much all the way through, and all kind of with an electrified voice. And I'm glad it was not the final cut for the exact same reason that that North 4 said. That having it be raw and just Sweater Finn singing on his own out here in the middle of nowhere is a breathing point, and it was more powerful. It was just way more powerful to do. And the thing that really decided it for me was, so I sang this whole thing in one go, despite this being cut the way it is. I actually think, oh yeah, so like the whole song I sang in one go. There's no cuts in the audio. And the thing that decided that it was going to be this take instead of that harmonized one was the ending of this.
I know I've changed. Is it for the better?
When I sang that out there in the woods on my own, no one around, I had this moment of, well, I could just stay out here. No one is going to come and check on me. I have this weird sense of self-agency. And it allowed me to get so fully in the space of that song. And when I sang that line, I just trailed off at the end. And I didn't sing the rest of the song. I just sat there for 30 seconds. And then I got up and I knew that one was the take. So that's what made it into the movie. And then we're just back home. Thank you, Pixel Fez. I'm glad you enjoyed it. So we're just suddenly back home. Outside is done. Sweater fins come back. This might be my least favorite scene. Put a smile on my face. But oh god, what a horrible smile. I call that one the wedding smile because I do it at weddings. It really sizzles in pictures, especially in like the background of a group shot at a wedding. You throw that one in there, primo photo. I guarantee it works every time. So this was a necessary scene because it's in many ways a lot about like this reconciliation between the two Finns, where they're finding common ground. They're understanding each other more. That is important. And it was an opportunity, honestly, just for some jokes, because we'd had Where Are the Happy Songs, and then This Morning Talk, and then the outside bit, and like, wow, that was 8 minutes of heavy stuff. It would be nice, and I know like I have more heavy stuff coming up with the night talk and broken parts and all that. It would be nice to get a couple more jokes in for pacing, to keep things fresh. So I was like, let's do some funnies. Let's do some funny jokes here.
I gotta get some pep in my step.
And this whole pep in my step thing, of course, is a callback to Pep 'em Up. Got to get that pep 'em up. So there are some funny jokes. Yeah, ask away, Conrado. There are some funny one-liners here.
Over here.
But my favorite of them.
Yes, I'll accept.
There's two.
Pep call. My favorite.
Yeah, you can ask Conrado. No one is stopping you from typing in your question. I have two favorites. One is
Ira Star Fox.
this one's so niche, so dumb.
If I were a Star Fox pilot, gosh, I'd be Slippy.
so silly. Like the joke is that of the Star Fox pilots, there's Fox, Falco, Slippy Toad, and then Peppy Hair. And like the joke is, it's like, oh, he's gonna say Peppy, but I say Slippy instead. Old niche joke, love it. Yeah, I'm aware of the war that is going on, but I am not talking about it in this stream.
I'll accept the charges.
And then the other joke here is this one again. It's a very Finn joke.
My favorite cured dry pork or beef-based sausage? Pepperoni.
Pepperoni. So a couple of good zingers in there that make me chuckle. It is just the right amount of dumb. That's exactly correct. Am I going to release Smile on My Face standalone? Nope. No, I am. The soundtrack is out on Spotify. I am going to release Broken Parts tomorrow, the whole final sequence. But it's just going to be The Shine, Where Are the Happy Songs, and Broken Parts that get their own standalone videos on the channel. Because then I'm ready to to dedicate 2 weeks to disassociate and then move on to new stuff, basically. You know what that's from? By the way, so the delivery of pepperoni, I gotta find this video. It is this video from Film Cow, who did Charlie the Unicorn. He has these 2 videos with these puppets that are doing like this cereal advertisement, and they all talk like that.
Now it's like eating an angel. I can open, I want my own brand. Oh my god, about deed and deliciousness. I'm a fucking god now.
It just all talks so goofy. And I had that in my mind 100% I was like, pepperoni, crack it open. Anyways, so they got a bit of reconciliation. And then we're into this final sequence, this long, big, broken part sequence. And really, like at this point in the film, do you have any big ideas in mind? So I have plans in mind that I will reveal at the end of the stream. I want to go through all this, and then I'll talk about what the channel is going to be doing next, and then we'll like mixing Q&A with there, and then I'll call it and go buy groceries because I need to go buy groceries. I am German. Oh yeah, that was the other joke in there.
Fire star you.
I am German. I am.
This
This one right here.
Germans love to smile.
Germans love to smile. That's one of those jokes that anyone can make. Anyone can make that joke. But I have to tell you, as a German making that joke, it just hits me right in the funny bone. That one gets me too. That's like that'd be a good that's like you put it in your wallet. It's like whenever I want to spend money, this face looks at me. Oh, it's a bad purchase. Shouldn't buy that thing. Not when I'm getting this face. So the whole night talk. That's at this point, it's like I need to get basically everything out. Everything else that I need to say. Before the song starts. Because the first part of Broken Parts is the reconciliation. Thanks, Conrado. And then the second part is the real climax. And the film doesn't really have a denouement. If anything, Broken Parts is the denouement after the alternate goes to bed, but it doesn't really have a denouement. It just kind of hits the climax and then is out. Or that shocking ending. Anyways, this we have a nice little time transition shot, which is not done well. Because like an idiot, originally I was like, oh, I'll just show night. The night shot will be the only thing I show. So it's just going to be like this.
When I get an answer to all this. What, the answer to your midlife crisis?
And I was like, oh, but it's way better if it transitions from day to night. Oh, that's so good. The problem is that I had already filmed the night sequence and I'd filmed the day sequence at a slightly different angle. So I had to do a lot of dumb editing tricks to try and make them work. And it's just sloppy. It's needlessly sloppy. And I never fixed it for no good reason. There we are. Now you know. So the whole night talk, it covers a lot. It's a fairly long conversation. That's the thing I learned about writing dialogue for this film, is that a little bit of dialogue really takes up a lot of time. Like the script for this 5-minute conversation is not that big. Or I didn't think it was that big. And it even got tapered down. but such it is. But this is really that reconciliation. I love some of the shots here on the alternate. All the visuals on the alternate I are such a fan of. Even that is just like this expansive room shot. And then this one here, where he's basically just a silhouette from the backlight, is I really enjoy. Does he have any others? I think he's just basically those two. But that's a cool shot. Oh, I'm not coming back to remaster anything or reshoot anything. I'm the same way with my music. Once it's recorded, it's done. Move on to the next thing. Improve. But really, that conversation, its whole, covers a lot of things to be interpreted in ways. It's one of those subjective interpretations, so I'm really not going to comment on it. That is for you to decide what it means. And then we move into this final sequence. By the way, I feel like I should comment. Thank you, Oscar. All the transition music, which are labeled Dissociate 1, 2, 3, and 4. So they're all like on this one synth that I built. And it's this spacey sound, just used in different ways. Yeah, all four of those sections. Right at the start. Yep. So there's this binding element between all of it. And that was honestly a treat for me because I got to do film scoring again, which is what that was. What do I mean when I say I built a synth? I mean, like, you build sounds on synths from the ground up, which is not a good explanation now that I listen to myself. The way that, like, all electronic instruments work, and especially all intended synth instruments. I don't really have my program open. Oh, but maybe I can. Maybe I can. Okay, say you get it. But I wonder if I can real quickly. Because I'm running my mic through my audio software. I wonder if I can just drag a window down. Yeah, I can do something here. Okay, so actually, will this even show? Probably. Yeah, okay. So like this is a synth interface. And all of these knobs and buttons do something. So like this arpeggiates that signal. And this distorts it. And I can turn up the cutoff to change the sound. Wait, I might have a different phone. Yeah. So that's how synths are built. You just tinker around until you find the thing you like. It's a lot of fun. So anyways, there's that one synth and it goes through all of the film. This whole sequence I really love the lighting of. Yeah, go do that eat. I did comment on that shot where I just stop and look in the mirror north. I enjoy that one too. Very intentionally left in. Anyway, so this, yeah, it's just like a slow zoom. The lights go out, and we just have all of the little bits. And then those two handhelds, these disc lights, or what are they called? Puck lights, that's what it is. Light up. And one thing I really like here in the score, the soundtrack mimics that. We have that ba as those two lights flick up. And then the whole nocturne. I am still streaming in Ion. We're getting close to the end of this. The whole nocturne. There are things, I mean, it felt necessary. It felt, when I originally pictured the sequence, we went straight into broken parts. Or, yeah. So even that transition was going to be the same. I was just going to press the buttons. So this whole thing is like an extra. So why does it exist? Why does this nocturne need to be in the film? And I have no intellectual response. It just, God, it felt right. It needed something. Just this wordless expression of all of the feelings of the film so far, distilled into this piano piece. When I wrote the nocturne, it was honestly more of a fantasia. A lot of it was improvised. But when I wrote, it's like that, wow, it encapsulates my feelings without any words. And I knew I needed it in towards the end of the film. And when I fleshed out what Broken Parts was going to be as this entire sequence that finished the movie, I was like, I have to put the nocturne before that. It can't be at the end. Didn't feel right. So we just take this one still shot, the nocturne as it is here, as it is recorded in the soundtrack, is one live take. There's even a wrong note in here somewhere. Right there. It's the same sort of vibe as My Sweet Melody. It's just it's a single take with all its flaws. And there is power to it. And then we're in Broken Parts. Broken Parts. This is, of course, a very meaningful piece to me and a real turning point in the film. Because it helps us end with that. Oh, that's a good idea, Lazy Bot. Yeah, that's true. So Broken Parts feels it is the catharsis. It is eventually the two parts coming together, which is the most important thing to achieve in this entire film. Like if there's any ending, without that, it kind of feels cheated. Like it feels like I could present all of this, but without giving it a resolution, I felt cheated when I conceptualized the whole thing. I was like, if there's no resolution, what's the point? Then it's just hopeless. Then the message is just hopeless. And despite how heavy this all gets, I really didn't want it to be hopeless. I wanted to end with, the truth of how I feel, definitely how I felt after having made all of this. Like Broken Parts I wrote right at the end of the whole film, and it needed to be written at the end of the whole film. Like I couldn't have had that kind of optimistic ending in me if I had stilled all these thoughts in The Shine in me, all these thoughts in Where Are the Happy Songs. There could not be optimism if that was all still brewing around in me. And yeah, you picked up exactly on it, Nine. It is not a resolution in saying, here's the answer. The answer is saying that you have the motivation to try. You can try things. You can keep trying, which is the whole point, to bring it all the way back. That's the whole point of Pep 'em Up. The point of Pep 'em Up is not that it is the answer. It's that it's the motivation to find the answer. And if you don't try, then you cannot find the answer. So Broken Parts is about bringing that all together. And of all the things I've ever made in my YouTube career, visually speaking, Broken Parts has to be one of my favorites. It's tied for my favorite sequence with Where Are the Happy Songs. They're both just remarkable visually for me. I enjoy them so much. There are some really cool things going on. This whole music video is lit by these two puck lights. Every single aspect of it, except for the lighting that was like already on the walls or the blinking lights from my computer screen. Everything is lit by these two puck lights, which was a challenge. I shot Broken Parts over 3 nights because every night I kept doing so many takes trying to find the right angles where like this one was so tough. I was like, okay, I need to light up most of my body from the back, but my head needs to be more lit. Like I need to be able to detect my face and see it. And so like this puck light is resting on my extended CD-ROM drive coming out of my computer tower. And this one is on a music stand resting on my desk. There was so much trial and error to get the lighting right because 2 little puck lights does not give you a lot to work with. But it was so worth it. And this song is so happy. It's so optimistic. Like the pre-chorus I love.
Love grows.
Like this whole thing.
We can make mistakes. We can fall on our faces. We got time to waste, but we're gonna get better. We've got.
It's such a release after the heaviness of the other 2 songs. And it's so fun. I cannot help but smile when I sing that pre-chorus. I can make mistakes, I can fall on my face, I've got time to waste, but I'm gonna get better. How could I not smile? So tremendous. As far as other shots are like, wow, there's so many cool ones. This one, I'm just gonna gush about Broken Parts for a couple minutes if you guys will let me.
Fall on my face.
It's so
I've
cool.
got time to
So that's, I actually should load up Broken Parts so I can go into this. Where is the night thing? Nothing had the proper labels when I was making it. What was my budget for each song? This film had no budget. I made this just on my own with the equipment I already had. Budget. Budget, she says. Oh my goodness. Oh, that's a real laugh. That gets me in the giggles. Okay, so right. This floor shot. Laryngeal. Incredible word to use. So like some of these shots. So cool. So cool. So I'm on the ground. I'm lying on the ground. I have the 2 puck lights on either side of my head, which I later lift up in the second verse.
I've got fears, I have shed tears,
And then so again, like the effects here, I'm totally washing out the background. Totally washing it out. And then putting in a little lighting, and that's it. And the neat thing about the effects here was that the lighting I put in is the same lighting setting in The Shine, and the level setting I'm doing is this same level setting as Where Are the Happy Songs. So the effects, the visual effects on Broken Parts are composed solely of effects that were used in The Shine and Where Are the Happy Songs. And that to me felt so right, as this is like, it's not ignoring the past. It's taking all of the things you've learned and making something new with it and doing something with it. So that's fun. Just some cool shots. What other shots? I mean, just every one of these, it took so much to get them right, so they're all kind of nifty. Like this one with the bass is cool. So there's the one puck light beneath me, but the other puck light I'm holding in my picking hand. So it's just shooting into my palm, lighting it up. This is not a lot. Where's my bass? Here we go.
We can make change. We can heal pain.
It's just kind of neat. So without the effects, Yeah,
We
super
can
orgy.
make change.
But you can see a little bit better
We
there.
can heal pain.
Is there anything else before we get into Broken Parts 2? Yeah, this was nice. So I recorded. I
Our
recorded.
actions to show how love grows.
Make a little heart. I recorded a 10-minute video of me just flailing these puck lights around in different orientations because I was like, maybe I can chroma key them and then just overlay them or do something cool visually with them. And the only thing I ended up using was this 1 second shot of
Love
forming a heart.
grows. We
I don't use the rest of it. So there's a lesson. Film more than you need. And then the alternate reappears. I thought he went to bed, but here
got
he
time
comes.
to waste, but we're
Down the stairs in slow motion. Or rather, all of the parts with the alternate here and the whole sequence, this entire sequence, is all played at 0.75 times speed, which gives it this dreamlike quality. It's all a little too smooth, where the rest of the song has been played at normal speed.
for death. Nowhere. We're gonna get better.
I remember the 2-5-1 progression. How love grows. Actually, that's 3-5-4. Believe it or not. Let me see. Yeah, it's 3-5-4. Oh, wait. the least good way to play a song ever. Can make mistakes. I can fall my. Oh wait. We want the verse. How love grows. We can. Yeah, there's 3-4-5. Why did I pick it? Why do I pick any chords? It's not a specific reference to something. It's just, it felt right. It was a little bit of motion. Boom, boom, boom. So the bass, the root of the chord, changing with each note the melody changes on. So we're syncing up. It just felt like the right amount of motion to have there. Because then it just stops. Ba-doom, bum. Bum, ba, bum, ba, bum. Make mistakes. Now we're in the pre-chorus. At the end. Ooh, 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 ooh.
No, we get better.
Oh yeah, this was a cool shot too. If I may continue to gush about Broken Parts, was setting this up so these 6 identically playing shots all pause at different times. There's no reason that's in there except that it's cool. It just looks neat. Gosh, I love it.
We're gonna get better.
There's that ooh part. And then we're into we're not into Broken Parts 2 yet, but we're into the second half of 1, which is now just, yeah, rule of cool. This is now just visual storytelling. And this is the sequence I'm tied for Where the Happy Song. It says I'm very, very happy with how this turned out. Because it's just 1 minute of telling a story, telling actual narrative without words, without lyrics. It just came together really nicely. So I don't want to over-explain this. I kind of don't want to ruin the magic, you know. So I'm just going to point out a couple things. One, like I've deliberately defocused on this shot. So everything's super out of focus, but it's this beautiful, nice, fuzzy glow, which fit the tone. this shot too. Really enjoy how it flickers back and forth between them. It was hard to line up the camera right to get both shots identical because I'm shooting in different locations. I'm shooting on opposite sides of that. But it worked out. It was neat. And then a lot of slowly going towards it, joining up. And then this. Ugh. This portion, this 15 seconds of the faces is this is the most emotionally moving part of the film for me. Because it sounds narcissistic because I'm literally just looking at my own face and 2 copies of my own face. But by this point in the film, when I was making it, and certainly now when I watch it, these aren't me. These 2 people are not me. They are characters that form aspects of me as a person, but they are characters. So I watch it half with like a father watching their children, and then I just watch it half as like the person who performed that. It was me. I did film that, but it's not me. I filmed it, but it's not me as a character. Yeah, it's disassociation. Yeah. So there's something about this that really gets me emotionally. Each of these 7 shots serves its own little purpose. From this nervous breath to this, like, in both of them, this soft, reconciled look before the actual smile. And when I cut that together, the first time in its final form, I was surprised at how emotional I got. I was like, oh, this is the end of the journey I've been on for 3 months. Like, this is the moment where that ends. And then shooting Broken Parts 2, the end sequence, I guess that is the denouement. Because really this moment, these 2 expressions, that's the climax. That is the high point of the film. I was worried initially about letting the music play for so long, because it's about a minute, and it was a challenge to fill up the minute, I will say, with meaningful shots. I still don't know if I 100% did it. I think it kind of drags. The hand part kind of drags a little bit, but overall, very happy with it. Oh yeah, that is a nice way to think about it. And then here we are, the alternate and White Sweater Finn joined into one person, wrapped in starlight. Well, there's not really too much to say about this. So this last shot was very. Do I have it on here? I can't remember. Right, so it was just all, most of this is all here. It's all just one take. I must have done at least 10 takes of this particular point from this angle. Because when I shot, I was like, oh, that's the last shot. That is the last shot of the whole film. It has to be good. It cannot be underwhelming. And I did take after take after take to try and get that right, to sync up with the words right, to get the emotion right. And then when I was editing it, I did cut after cut after cut. When do you stop this? Because it went on for like another 4 seconds. In the way the film was cut, this take goes on for like another 4 seconds of me just having this catharsis moment. And I cut so many back and forth all the time, just like by frame, by frame, by frame. I was like, it doesn't feel right. It doesn't feel right. I finally got it. It feels right. Did I film it last? No, I filmed pretty much everything chronologically, how it appears in the film. Was this the very last shot? No, this wasn't the very last shot. The very last shot I did was actually unused, but I will show it to you because it's kind of fun. Well, see, that's what I thought about too, Oscar. I was like, do I just leave this shot all the way? But it was more powerful, I found, when I cut it where I did. If there was any shot I overthought, it was this one. But I'm very happy with how it turned out. Okay, let me find this one thing. It is worth seeing, and I'd be so bummed if I just don't have it anymore. By the way, here's a fun fact. The folder for Disassociate of like all of the films and music and all that is 133 gigs. 133 gigabytes to make this thing. Now you know. Okay, here it is. So, in this last sequence, I'm wrapped in lights. Like the joined fin is wrapped in lights. And initially, I mean, it served multiple purposes, like both narratively and also literally just to light my body in a very low lighting shot. But initially, I was not going to have a shot like this. That was the ending. Originally, I was really, really, really wrapped in lights. So wrapped, in fact, that I looked like this. Since I'm probably not going to be in this getup again, whoa. This is one of the neatest lighting things I've ever made. A googly boogly, a googly boo. I'm the light boy. It's kind of horrific, honestly. It's kind of like it feels kind of like a horror monster. Ooh. Ha-ha! Still, pretty cool. As you can see, I did not use that horrifying shot. It looks scary. It looks scary. And I was like, that is not the angelic, like, that is not the look I want. It was too scary. So I ended up just wrapping myself up from the neck downwards. Although here, let's give you horror monster. Can I? There's like your horror monster screenshot. Feel free to take that one. Yeah, it was like, it's just so creepy. It is cool how the lights like go through the whorls of my hair in that kind of circular way. But it's really, it's not like, it doesn't scream, a good thing has just happened. It screams villain. So not the right look. And then the film ends. And as we fade out, we get the final... Oh, right, that's not even in Broken Parts. That was in the main film thing. We get the final thing here. So I tried the wreath. I did just like the crown, and it did not look good. And then we get the final shot. I was at a loss for a long time, or at least a few days, of how to end the film. Because like, I know I want this shot. Have that catharsis on the face. And then how do you end it? What do you just go to black and the video ends? It felt like I needed a little something. So it's like, I'll put the title up. And then I was like, oh, but I can take away the diss. Because that's the thing that has been resolved. I don't have the answers to all my problems, but at least I'm unified as I go forward. It's really, like, for me, that was the therapy exercise in making this. So good question. Why did I put the dots between the letters in disassociate. Yeah, here, look. So the dis fades away. We're left with our associate, which is really associate and associate. They're now associates. Why did I put the dots in between the letters? 2 reasons. Was it 2? The main thing is that when I was coming up with the name of the film, which did not happen until almost the end, like a couple weeks ago was when I came up with the name of the film. In my folders, it's all just called film. That's how it's referred to. So I eventually came with the name Disassociate, because like that, I stumbled across the word. It's not like I'd never heard of it, but stumbled across it, like, that's the one. It was immediately perfect. It was immediately the right word. And I looked up, I wanted to double check. I looked up how to spell it, because I don't want to do anything wrong. And when I did that, and when I Google searched it, it also listed how to pronounce the word, which is like this: disassociate. So these dots split up the syllables of the word. And I thought that was incredible, because the word itself, like this, the word itself is disassociating from itself. Its parts are splitting, separated by these dots. It's taken itself apart. If that doesn't represent the film, what does? So the dots are, mechanically speaking, they are to separate the syllables of how to pronounce the word, the syllables of the word. Narratively speaking, they are emblematic of the whole film. Yeah. And there we are. It's the end of the movie. Very end marker that I rendered to. There it is. How about that? So let me put that up there. Let me go back to here. Oh, it's just me again and my enormous poof. So that's the breakdown of Disassociate. That's really as much as it's ever going to get broken down. So I'll hang up for a little bit still. Feel free to ask any questions, but I will make a bit of an announcement here. As soon as I finish stretching. That's a good stretch. So I mentioned at the start of the stream, I was going to talk a little bit about where the channel goes next. What do I do from here? After you've made something like Disassociate, what else can you make, you know? And I honestly, so I'm going to do oh, thank you, Oscar. I'm going to do a post and like announcements and all that. And I'm very curious to see how it's going to be received in the context of Disassociate having just come out. But where do you go from here? What do I do? Because for me, this latest era of content that started with The Well, so I stopped doing dubs, I made The Well, and then I did all these other kinds of videos, all the live action stuff. And then I made Disassociate. That's a chunk in the channel's history. That is a self-contained segment. And I'm not going to be doing the same stuff there. Because I tried a lot of different stuff. I tried a lot of different things over the past 8 months. Trying to find something that was successful on YouTube that I liked to do. And I had varying success. Like the memes in real life were very popular. And other things were incredibly unpopular. So it was a real journey of discovery. But the current plan is you're going to see, I think what we can call it is, man, I can't believe how long I've drawn out me saying what I'm actually going to do. I feel like a politician. I've talked for like a minute and a half and I've said nothing useful. This is incredible. But really, what I'm going to do is what you're going to see is sort of a return to form. Because guess what, guys? I want to make dubs again. And when I say I want to make dubs, what I really mean is I've been making dubs for the past 2 weeks because Disassociate has been done. What else am I going to do with my time? Just sit here and wait for videos to get released? What are we popular? Yeah, viewer metrics. Because, as much as, viewer metrics and response and comments, Twitter, how they go cross-platform, all the business side of it. Because as much as we want to do anything we want in this world, and like I as a creative person want to do anything I want, you have to be realistic, which is a big part of what I learned throughout the film. Is like I cannot afford to do just literally anything I want all the time. That's one of the big points that gets brought up. Because I need to pay rent. I need to like be able to get sponsorships and have income from ads and income from live streams and stuff like that. So, what the current plan is to do what I wrote for my 2 characters, and that is to compromise. So, I am going to make more dubs. Dubs are back. I have no plans right now to do anything except piano dubs and full band dubs. I will say that they are going to be done in different ways than you have seen before. Because as much as I go back to form here, I do want to keep things fresh and change things up a bit. But that is basically what you can look forward to. Yeah, so there's the question. And that's the question I think I'm going to get a lot, Oscar, as I announce this, which I'm going to do probably Saturday, because tomorrow we have the Broken Parts video and then a late night piano. And then Saturday, I think, is good chance to do like all the stuff for the next phase. Am I okay with this? That's the big question. And I wish I could say I'm 100% good with this for sure. I'd say I'm like 80 to 85% good with this. Because so I'll explain this and I'll sort of answer Anand's question along the way. The most important thing, of course, is do I actually want to do this stuff? Because if you truly and deeply don't want to do it, then it's not worth doing. And that's why I stopped making dubs the second time. The first time was because of copyright worries and all that stuff. The second time was because I didn't want to do them anymore. I'd made a lot of them, didn't want to do them. So why do I want to do them again? I think it's this. The space has been important. I haven't made, up until the last couple of weeks, I hadn't made a dub of any kind in like 10 months. It was a pretty long time in terms of YouTube. And when I stopped doing them last year, I genuinely, fully had no plans to ever do them again. And so it never hung over me as an obligation. There was never any point where I felt pressured to make piano dubs or to make full band dubs. There's never a point where it's like, channel would be performing better if I was making those dubs. Because the channel performed great at times, like with memes in real life. Those videos with some of the other videos, some of the silly songs, the channel performed fine. It did well. I had my second most popular month ever in like the fall of last year. I had the most subscribers and most views, or second most subscribers and most views ever in 1 month after I stopped making dubs, which was super reassuring because it was like, oh, you know what? I can actually find success without dubs. I can do it. It's not like guaranteed, but it's like, oh, I can still be like an internet entertainer without relying on one formula, which is really reassuring. So all that to say that I never felt pressured to make more dubs. So when I came to the end of Disassociate, or rather, I was like 2/3 of the way through making it. This was in like early January. I started to confront the question of what do I make after Disassociate? Because making this was like a vacation. I haven't really made content for the channel. I just like took 3 months of my life and made this for my own sake. And I really thought a lot about what kind of stuff do I like, because I've done so many things over my years on YouTube. From piano dubs to full band dubs to write me a song to silly songs to live streams. Like, I've done a lot of different things. And it was getting in the mindset of like, you can make anything you want. But if you want to do this as your job, if you want to support yourself through this, you have to think more business-like about it. Because that's the nature of making income in entertainment. So it's like, how do you do that and also be creatively satisfied? So that was, I mean, I confronted a lot of that through making Disassociate. And the point of like making dubs now is I do genuinely want to do them. Over the past, I get to choose to make dubs. Yes, that's exactly it, LazyBot. Before I stopped making them, I was so afraid that I could not have success without them. And now I know I can. So there's way less pressure. And something about that is very freeing. You hit the nail on the head. So I have been making dubs over the past 2 weeks. I've got a handful of piano dubs, and I've just been finishing up a second full band dub today. And it's like putting on a pair of old boots. I know exactly what I'm doing. It's reassuring. It's very nice. And it's fun to experiment with them in new ways, new formats of filming them and like using the green screen, taking the skills that I've learned over the past 8 months of not making dubs, which was a lot of green screen content, and taking humor from that and like adding those to dubs has been so much fun. It's been great. And there, of course, I've got concerns. Of course, I'm human. I'm not like gonna say it's like, oh yeah, this is the perfect answer. I don't know if it is the perfect answer. Who knows? In 2 or 3 months, I might be like, wow, I'm sick of this again. And I'll just stop forever. Who knows? Not me. They're concerned, sure. Like the first full band dub I made, the first one you're going to see, which is going to come out on Monday, got flagged for copyright. So I'm going to make no income on that video. So that was a reminder of like, oh yeah, this thing again, this problem that will happen repeatedly. So it's like, yeah, that's just a thing to contend with. Ironically, making those videos that are like they get so popular historically that them not making income is kind of okay because they draw in enough income from all the other videos and from people coming to Patreon. It's this weird balancing calculator that I have thought about a lot. So there are problems with dubs. There are problems with that. But the point is that like I at least right now I want to make them, and that seems sort of like the best course forward business wise. People still ask me about dubs, so I know that people will be excited to see them come back. And I'm not going to like falsely love them or falsely praise them. If I get sick of doing them again, then I'll just get sick of doing them again and peace out. You know, I have that much confidence now that I did not have before. So the only other thing I want to say, by the way, Oscar, thanks for hanging out. Loved all your comments. We're basically at the end of the stream, anyways. And yes, and like they're always relevant. That's true. Oh, I'm getting a little bit crackle on my voice, maybe. I don't know. So the only other thing I want to say in this stream is that as an overarching business plan that I have been cobbling together, I am going to stop streaming on Twitch, and the late night piano streams will continue, but they're coming back to YouTube. They will be here on YouTube, 8 p.m. Eastern every Friday, just like how they were before. Going on Twitch was good. The infrastructure of Twitch is way better for streaming, but I just don't have the numbers there. You know, I lost like 80% of the stream audience when I went over. So I also lost donations, which were real good. Were real good for me. So I'll make things more clear in a big post I'll do. And I think I need to give my preamp a rest. I don't normally stream for 2 hours straight. So thank you so much for hanging out. As I get continually cracklier, this stream will go up on Finn Was Streaming, the second channel, for you to watch through later. And yeah, just, geez, whole lot of content coming soon. With the rest of Disassociate, and then The Change, and then more dubs. My goodness. So I will see you soon. Have a great day. Bye. Where's my button? Here's my button. Bye.